Hey guys, Andrew here with the Reach Company. This is a general tutorial for our Church Essentials websites. One of the coolest things about our Church Essentials sites is that you really don't have to build anything new. All you have to do to have an amazing site is come in and replace my content with your own. So you just come in and you change out my logo, picture, colors, and content with your own logos, pictures, content, and colors. I am going to show you in this tutorial how to use our page builder to replace content that already exists. So you can use this tutorial and go to any of these pages up here, or any of the pages that already exist on your website, and you can change out my content with yours. You'll need to know two other things. One, if you want to create new pages and new content, there are other tutorials for you. So make sure to find those on creating new pages, creating new sermons, new forms, new ministries, new next steps, etc. And if you're looking for updating your font choices and your color scheme across the entire website, there is a tutorial on using the customizer to update site-wide colors and font choices. So be sure to check out those to do that. In this tutorial, we're only looking at replacing existing content and making it yours. And so to begin, I want to talk about how a page actually works. If you hover over Page Builder, you'll see that three things come up. You see the home page, which is all this content right here. You see the site header, which is made up of your logo, this background, this white background, and the menu area. And you see the footer, which is all this down here in the gray. These are three different parts because the home page is unique to this page, but the site header and the footer, they are consistent site-wide. So no matter what page you go to, you're going to see the same header and the same footer. If you need to update those, there is a tutorial on updating your header and footer, changing out your logos, things of that nature. This one, we're just looking at changing out the page. And so we're going to begin by clicking on Page Builder. It's going to bring up the Page Builder over here for us to use. I like having it on the side. You can drag it to anywhere. You can drag it to the middle. But I'm going to drag it back over here, and I'm going to keep it on the side for me. It makes it cleaner for me to work, I think. And before we dive into changing stuff, I want to explain how the Page Builder works. This Page Builder is basically boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes. I want to scroll down to this next section to illustrate that. As you can see, when I hover over things, blue boxes come up around them. When I hover over this, you can see that there's blue around this entire thing right here. That is called a row. That is the big box of the Page Builder. So this is a row. If I hover over the wrench, you'll see that it says row settings. Inside rows, you have columns. And so I'm going to hover over column settings, and you'll see that this entire column is now outlined in blue. And within the columns, you have the actual modules. So these are the things that display your content. So if I click on this module, you'll see over here that it's a call out module. If I click on this module, you'll see that it's a button module. And that's the same everywhere. This is a heading, text, button, etc. It's boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes. I want to begin, now that we know that there's rows, columns, and modules, boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes, I want to start with our row settings. So I have this picture here that I'm sure you will want to replace. And the way we do that, we're going to start from the row, we're going to work to the column, and then we're going to work down to the individual modules. I want to change the row settings right here. And so the first thing I want to do is I like having a tall, like full height row for the first thing that people see when they come to my site. And so I'm going to change the height here to full height. There's a number of settings for the row, for the columns, for modules. Most of them you won't have to change because I've already done that for you, but you're more than welcome to play around and test it out. I've just changed this height to full height, and you can see that it changes to being the full height of the page. You have options here to change the text colors inside of the modules or inside of the row. These colors can be overridden by the color settings that you have in the module itself. For example, If I click on this heading module and go to its color, you'll see that it's white. And so if I tried to change those colors here in the row, it wouldn't change because this heading module overrides it. Let's scroll down and figure out this background, okay? If I go to background, you can see that the type of background is set to photo. You have a number of different background settings here, background options. I'm going to go with a video setting for this one. So we're going to click video. And then I need to go to the video source right here. I'm going to go ahead and select this video. A word to the wise, a lot of people like using background videos. I like using background videos, but you need to be smart about the kind of video that you put here, because if you have a huge video and it's, if it's over like 30 megabytes, I would not suggest using it because it's going to slow down your website a whole lot. The second important thing about using videos is that you need to select a fallback photo. And the reason being is, one, if your video fails, or two, if someone is looking at this on a mobile website, like on their phone, mobile websites don't usually play background videos, and so having the fallback photo ensures that there's still a background there for them to look at. The other thing I like to do is add an overlay, and so we can do that by selecting one of these colors, and I'm sure you'll see that the color changes there when I select it. And then the overlay capacity, it basically changes how transparent it is, or translucent. And so I'm going to take this up to 80, and let's go to 0, and you can see what that looks like. And then back to 80, and you can see the overlay color there. And I'm going to save these row settings. So now we've taken this row and we've added a background video to it, and we've added an overlay color to it as well to make our text pop even more. And so now I want to go to columns. To do columns, I want to go down to this middle column right here. And I want to change the background color so it's separate from these other guys right here. And I'm going to change the background color to just plain white. And you can see that it changes the color for that. There's some other options that you can use here. The first one is the border. You can add a border to this. And let's just so you can see it clearly. I'm going to make it a really thick one. I'll get rid of it, I promise. And see that, so that makes that column stick out even more. Let's get rid of that border. I'll go back to none. Another option you can do is you can add a shadow to this. So you see that shadow come up, and then you can change the shadow on hover, so as the mouse goes over it, it changes. Maybe you can see how the shadow gets a little more defined when I hover over this column area. I'm going to get rid of those for now. I just wanted you to see that you can add the shadows and you can change the color of this of these columns. And the other important part is I can make the columns equal height. I am OCD when it comes to alignment and things like that, and so I can make all these columns the same height across. So if there's more content in one than the other, I can make sure that they're always the same height and nothing looks skewed. And so I'm going to go ahead. If I wanted this to stay white, I would save it. I don't want it to stay white. I want it to go back to that gray for now. And so I'm just going to cancel that. Now we can move. We've talked about the rows. We've talked about the columns down here, changing that background color. And now I want to go to the actual module. And so let's click on this this heading module. Boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes, guys. First thing we can see here is that if I go to style, I can change the color here. If I get rid of this color, you see how this color is set for the module itself. If I get rid of that color by clicking the X, you'll notice that that it reverts to the site-wide color. So that's this color right here in Customizer is the color that I have set to go to all of my headings across the site. See, times, location, contact. These are all set by the site-wide colors, and you can see that now this is too. Anywhere you see this little teardropper icon when you're messing with the style and the color, that means that it's set site-wide. If I want to change it inside the module, I'll just go here and pick my color. Now here's where saving colors can come in really handy. Every church has a different color scheme, right? And so I'm sure yours does too. So this is really helpful because now you can come in, you can take your color scheme, and you can add your hex code color here, whatever color that is, and you're going to want to use this across your site if you're changing headings, you're changing button colors, things of that nature. It's really easy now because you just come in, put that hex code in, click this plus icon, and it adds it to your presets. And so now, if I want to come in and I want to make that into my orange, I come in, I click on color presets, and now my color is saved right there for me to add. Because of darker backgrounds, I already have some preset colors. You're going to use white and these grays a lot of times. I have this blue set just because that's the Church Essentials color that I used for this Freedom Essentials website. You can get rid of that easily by clicking on the X and then adding your own colors here as well. Next, I want to look at the buttons. So a button is a module as well. All these are buttons down here. If I want to change this button, I just click on the module. This is the great thing about all the content here. If you want to change it on any page, change anything, all you have to do is open the page builder and click on what you want to change. Maybe we want this to go to messages, right? And so I change the link right here to our sermon page. If you don't know the link, you can copy and paste it, or you can just click select and type in the page, and it'll come up right there. And you can just save that. You can change the style here as well. So all of these are set to white already. Remember that if you see the teardropper, it's set to the site-wide color settings. It's the same for down here with these buttons. These are set to a darker color. Maybe on this page you have to go a little bit further, and you can't just replace my content with your own, but you need to add another button somewhere. Instead of just going to modules and adding buttons, you can go to saved. Let me rewind. If you have to add content, I know this is covered in another tutorial, adding new content, creating a page, but for the sake of you not getting confused, all these modules are right here for you to add to your page, and you would just click and drag and drop in. But if you have to add like a button or something to this page, I have saved buttons already. And so, for example, this white outline button is right here. That way you don't have to recreate a button. I already have that button saved. You can just drag and drop it into your page somewhere and use it. Same for this dark outline button, and same for any of these other things here as well. It makes it a lot easier to add new content or tweak content without having to try and recreate what I've built here in this essential site already. All right, and so that is using the page builder to replace my content with replace my already existing content with your new content as you're getting going building your website.